Warzone. Love it or hate it, it's hot right now, and what better way to jump in than with some fresh intel. My name is Vowels, you can find me online and streaming at the link below, and here is my list of tips to make you a better Warzone player. Let's go. Stretch landing. Everyone's going to have a different opinion about. Personally, I've found that pulling your chute, cutting it, and then when you hit 45 miles an hour, re-pulling it, and then immediately cutting it, it gives you like a little jolt of energy towards the destination that you're going. I just rinse and repeat this process. So I'll jump out, I'll cut it. Once I hit 45 miles an hour, I'll re-pull the chute, immediately cut it, and then hit 45, and then keep rinse and repeat, keep going. One thing that's good to know though, is after your initial parachute pull and you cut it and then you free fall again, it will not redeploy automatically. You will hit the ground and it will be a terrible way to begin your match of Warzone. Contextual Tap. What is Contextual Tap? Well, let me tell you. Contextual Tap is probably one of my favorite things I've discovered for Warzone. Basically, what you do is you go in your settings and there's an option where you can change it so instead of holding down X or square or whatever button you may be using, say on PC to pick up a weapon or open a box, you just tap that button once instead. This can be incredibly useful, especially for your initial landing when you start a game of Warzone. Say you go to a populated area and everyone's going for all the same guns, all you have to do is tap X, let's say, if you're on Xbox, and you just pick that weapon up. It's literally quicker. Like if you guys get there at the same time, if I have to hold my button down and you just have to tap it, you will get the weapon every time. And I am now a sitting duck. Classes. While I didn't want to make this video too long regarding custom classes, I did want to make a couple points about tips regarding custom classes. If you'd like to learn more about custom classes, or at least my recommendations for it in Warzone, I will be creating a video, and once that is done, I will be putting it in a link below, so go check that out. There's some really cheeky stuff in there, I'm not gonna lie. So what class strategy am I talking about? Well, for Warzone, there's two weapons that I mainly use, the MP7 and the HDR. But the AX50 is better. HDR is better. So I have my MP7 class and I have my HDR class. Both of those are with Ghost to protect me from UAVs. In addition to those, I also have a class with Overkill in place of Ghost. So I have that one class that will give me the MP7 and the HDR, but I won't have Ghost. Now, the reason for this is because sometimes you'll be in a situation where, I might already have an MP7 that, I'm fortunate that that's a pretty common weapon on the map. I might have already found one and I'm okay with that. I might really want Ghost, but I really want a sniper. So in that situation where I already have an MP7, I'll grab an HDR and I'll just grab that class with Ghost. So now I have my two weapons and I have Ghost. If it's really early on and I happen to score on a bounty, or I get really lucky with like an early airdrop or just a ton of money, I'll actually grab that Overkill class first so I can start off my match with both of my preferred weapons, knowing that I'm going to need to get another airdrop at some point so I can get Ghost as well. It's really situational, and honestly, I'm always going to recommend going with the Ghost class if you can. I really encourage people to try out the MP7 or really just any map dropped weapon, because if you can get really used to those, you can always grab your one sniper class, I'll use for example, with Ghost, so you have your preferred weapon that you typically will find on the map, and then your sniper class. And there's a lot of M4s, FAMASs, and MP7s on the map, and that P90. They're really good. The next few tips are kind of strange, but honestly, they're pretty helpful. Airstrike Tactic. What am I talking about? So this one's really weird, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't come up with it. One of my friends showed me this one. We were playing a match, and I don't know if he just happened to figure this out on his own, but we've been using it for a while now, and it works pretty well. Basically, we were in a situation where we were in a house, and there was a team camping on the roof, and they knew we were in the house. We had people outside, and it was just a terrible situation to be in on the stairwell. It was one of those like 15-floor stairwell buildings. It was terrible. My buddy just so happened to have an airstrike on him, and what he did is, with the team that was on the roof, while in the building, he looked at the ground and called in his airstrike right at his feet, and the airstrike actually came in and just smoked the team on the roof. We've done this a couple times now, and actually it works really well. It works especially well if you know there's a team on the roof and it's one of those like really tall buildings, and it's just so impossible to get up there without a helicopter. What you do is, if you can get in the bottom floor, if it's 17 stories tall, they're not going to hear you go in the bottom floor. floor. If you can get on that first floor with the team all the way on the roof and you just call in the airstrike at your feet, it is a very, very good way to either flush them off by parachuting off the building, have them come to you in the stairwell, or most of the time they really won't be expecting that, so you'll just wipe them out with that. Try it. Map pinging. This one's truly just like a tip and just like a nice little strategy you can use, especially late game. Basically what I'm talking about is with map pinging, oftentimes I'll find myself like near the end of a match, say a solo, and the circle just gets so small, and the mini-map is so hard to like gauge because of the scale of the map, you know, as a whole. What I'll try to do is I'll use this method when, you know, say I know there's someone in that building over there, and I see where the circle is, they're clearly not in it. I'm curious, you know, if they're gonna go to, you know, from building A to building B, or to, you know, to hide behind that rock. If I can't gauge, if I can't eyeball whether or not where they are, where I think they're gonna go, is gonna be in the zone, I'll actually ping that spot. It'll pop up on my minimap, the ping, and it'll show you if it's not on your minimap, if the map's, you know, if the circle's larger. You can open up your main map, and it will show you where your ping is on the map. So you can kind of use that as like a way to detect where they're going or where they are, and to see like what their position's gonna look like. It's pretty neat, and it's definitely helped me a couple times. Like I said, especially late game, if I'm curious where I am or where I want to go even, I'll ping that part of the map, and then I'll look at the mini map and see if it's going to be in zone. Try it. It's a good tool to have in your arsenal. Speaking of mini maps, this will segue us right into our next tip, being mini map setting. Let's kick it. So if you go into your options in Warzone, and then once you're there, scroll over to General. If you go all the way down to where it shows your heads-up display options, you'll notice that there's actually a setting for the mini-map shape. Now what's really nice about this is that it shows you your two options in a side-by-side comparison right on the right side of the screen. So you have your round shape, and then you have your square shape. If you notice, the square shape shows significantly more information, being in the corners where the circle would normally cut off. This is especially nice, say, if you have a UAV going, as it'll show you just a little bit more map coverage when it comes to your red dot pings. While this isn't an insane amount of a difference, it's definitely nice to have, and there's really no reason not to have a little bit of extra information on your minimap. Abusing windows against snipers. What do I mean? It's no secret that thermal scopes in Warzone are huge and super beneficial to have. Chances are, if you've hit an airdrop, you have one yourself, either on your AR or a sniper, like me. But what if you haven't yet? Maybe you found like a chemical, a scoped FAL, or the Dust Devil, you know, the Car 98 on the map. What do you do then? You don't have a thermal scope, right? If you found an airdrop, you probably have cold-blooded, because you really should be running that. If you haven't found an airdrop yet, you're not going to have it, and you're going to be very susceptible to thermal sights. How do you go against this? As good as thermal sights are going to be against you without having cold-blooded, there's actually something you can do. When looking down a thermal sight, something I noticed is that any glass window in the game, and there's a lot of them on just about every building, if that window has not been broken yet, through a thermal sight, there could be someone behind that glass, but the window pane is actually completely solid gray. You cannot see anything behind the window whatsoever. So if you're in a situation where maybe you found, say, a Dust Devil or another sniper on the map, or maybe in your airdrop care package you just don't use a thermal sight, you can actually keep the windows up to your advantage against other snipers. I'd say about 75% of people using snipers in this game are using thermal sights. Same thing goes for like an AR or sometimes a submachine gun. Hide behind glass windows. If you see someone looking at you and then you peek them through a window, you're gonna see their little white flash because they're sniping. If you don't see it and you don't have a thermal scope, you can look right through that window at them and they probably won't even see you. Worth a shot. Glass windows are your friend. We have gotten many of kills this way, and it's very satisfying. Guys, this has been a quick list of my tips to help you become a better player in Warzone. I hope some of you found at least a few of these tips helpful, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you learned a new tip here that you didn't know, please drop it below in the comments. I'd love to see which ones you guys weren't aware of and see where I was able to help. Again, my name is Vowels. You can find me streaming and online at the links below, and I will keep an eye out for you. I'm always looking for new people to play with, and I'd love to introduce myself a little bit more. Again, we have that airdrop custom class video coming. Once that is done, I will put it at the link below. Feel free to check. And as I said before, there's some really cool stuff in there that I think you might like. Whether it's in the next video or on a Twitch stream, I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Peace.